All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a powerful story about leadership that pretty much flips everything you think you know on its head. It's all about a successful executive whose life is secretly a mess and how he finds out what it truly means to lead. You know, the book kicks off with this fantastic quote from Dale Carnegie, and it just sets the stage perfectly. It's basically telling us, hey, what you're about to hear isn't some newfangled idea. Nope, this is timeless wisdom, passed down from some of the greatest thinkers in history. So, who's this story about? Meet John Daly. Now, on the surface, this guy had it all. General manager, great salary, beautiful home, married for 18 years, the whole picture of success. But underneath all of that, his world was totally crumbling.
All right, so here's how we're going to break down his journey. We'll follow him through 5 key stages, starting with his own crisis and ending with a completely new way of thinking about leadership. Let's get into it.
Okay, first section. Let's really dig into the problem here. What exactly pushed a man who seemingly had everything right to the edge?
I mean, look at this. John was the definition of a successful failure. You can just see this huge disconnect, right? He's a top manager, but his own team is trying to unionize. He's a husband and father, but his family feels totally alienated. He's even failing as a volunteer baseball coach. He had all the symbols of a great life, but none of the actual substance. So his wife is at her wit's end, and she basically pushes him to go on this week-long retreat at a remote monastery. He is not thrilled about it, to say the least. But then, he finds out that one of the monks is actually Len Hoffman, a legendary CEO who just vanished from the business world years ago. And that discovery? That's the spark that changes absolutely everything.
Okay, so this is where the lessons begin with this monk, Brother Simeon, and the very first one just shatters everything John thought he knew about being a boss. And Simeon kicks things off with this brilliant distinction, perfectly summed up by Margaret Thatcher. There is a world of difference between being in power and having real authority.
So, the first thing the group does is nail down a definition for leadership. And you've got to pay attention to 2 words here. They are absolutely crucial: skill and influence. See, leadership isn't a title someone hands you. It's a skill you have to learn. And it's not about bossing people around. It's about influencing them.
And this is where you really see the difference. It's so clear. Power, that's just force. You can get it from a title, you can buy it, but over time, it just eats away at relationships. Authority, though, that's a skill. It's about earning people's willing cooperation because of who you are. And that's what builds relationships and gives you real lasting influence.
Okay, now that we've got that difference down, Simeon introduces this idea that is, well, it's completely radical. It's a whole new way of looking at how any team or organization should be structured.
So this is the model we all know, right? The classic pyramid. But think about it. What's the big problem here? Everybody is focused on pleasing the person directly above them. The employees are trying to please the managers are trying to please the VPs. And who gets forgotten at the very bottom? The customer.
And then, bam, Simeon just flips the whole thing on its head. All of a sudden, the customer is where they belong, right at the top. And the leader's job is no longer to sit on top and give orders. Their job is to be at the bottom, serving everyone else, asking, how can I help you succeed? And then getting rid of any obstacles in their way.
So it all comes down to this really powerful, kind of paradoxical idea. To truly lead, you have to serve. A leader's job isn't to be served, it's to identify and meet the legitimate needs of their team. And notice that it's about needs, not just wants. What do people truly need to do their best work and thrive?
Okay, what does serving actually mean in practice? It's not about being a doormat or letting people walk all over you, right? No, it's about a series of very specific, very intentional actions.
And this quote from the legendary coach Vince Lombardi really nails it. Now, the word love in a business setting can sound weird, but Simeon's talking about a very specific kind of love called agape. It's a Greek idea that defines love not as a mushy feeling, but as a behavior. It's about how you act toward people.
Okay, so this is the roadmap. This is how it all fits together. It all starts with your will. You have to make a choice. That choice then guides your actions, which are these behaviors of love. When you act that way consistently, you are providing service. And it's through that constant service that you build genuine authority. And only then, after all that, have you earned the right to be called a leader. And these right here, these are the actual behaviors. What's so important to see is that these aren't feelings you just hope to have.
They're disciplines. They're things you do day in and day out that build your character as a leader.
Let's just take one: patience. We're not just talking about not getting annoyed. This is about real self-control. It means creating a place where people feel safe enough to make a mistake and learn from it. It means holding people accountable, sure, but without losing your temper.
And what about humility? This is a big one. It's not about thinking you're worthless, not at all. It's about being authentic, being real. It's admitting you don't have all the answers and actually valuing what other people bring to the table.
All right, let's be honest. This sounds like a ton of work, right? I mean, these behaviors don't always come naturally, especially under pressure. So why bother? Why choose this harder path?
Here's why it matters. Because when you choose to act this way over and over, these actions, they stop being just actions, and they start becoming habits. And those habits are what form your character. And at the end of the day, true, lasting leadership isn't about personality or some fancy title. It is all about character. And the payoff is huge, because the stakes are, frankly, incredibly high. Check out this number: 4-to-1. The book points to research that says it takes 4 positive interactions, 4 deposits into that relationship bank account to make up for just 1 negative one. That means every single thing you do as a leader has a massive impact.
So at the end of the day, the real reward here isn't just a better bottom line. It's about having stronger, healthier relationships in every part of your life, at work, at home, with your friends. It's a life with more purpose and more joy. So the final question isn't whether this stuff works, but a much more personal one. Who will you choose to serve today?